All right, take two. Realize I completely forgotten my mic, and I know how important that is to actually being able to hear what it is that I'm saying. So thank you for joining me today for Caitlin's Music City Skinny. Today we're going to be talking about something if you're considering home ownership, especially if you're thinking about buying a home that you plan to renovate, whether you plan to live in it or whether you plan to flip it and sell it. Because there's several things that you're going to want to consider just to make sure that you get a really great return on investment. And so like you can definitely think, especially in Nashville where everything just, the market's hot and everyone seems to want a piece of Nashville, it can be easy to be like, well, I'll just buy something and flip it and that's fine. But there are a couple of things that you're really going to want to consider just to make sure that you do get a good return on investment, because not everything is the best idea to buy if you're planning on flipping it. So, like I said, if you are trying to be the next Chip and Joanna Gaines, there's just going to be a couple of things that you really want to keep an eye out for, just so that you can make sure that when you're putting that money into real estate, that you're actually going to see it come back to you and, multiplied. So the biggest thing, and I know this is going to sound super cliche, but the biggest thing to consider is going to be location. So that you may be like, well, Caitlin, that's like no surprise. And I get it, but there's a couple of things like you can be like, well, I want to be in the hot part of town. Well, like that's great. And I mean, I totally understand, but there's just a few things like just to keep in the back of your brain as you're thinking about which home you do want to purchase. So the biggest thing is like in choosing the location is just making sure that whatever you're buying, you're not going to over renovate it for the area that you're looking at. So you don't want to like buy a home and then put all the money into the renovation and then be the most expensive home in the neighborhood. Like you really want to consider like when you purchase it that this is going to be a good investment for that neighborhood and that it really is going to be something that ends up being profitable for you. So what do you look for when you're looking in a location? So one of the big things to think about is you don't want to go into an area that's just super cookie cutter, because those homes are not going to, you're not going to be able to really see the good ROI on that kind of investment. You want to be in neighborhoods that are going to have like wider sizes and styles and price points. Like you're just really going to want to be able to like look across the board and make sure there is variety, so that does give you wiggle room when it comes to making your renovations. And then you're also going to want to consider like in these homes in the area that you're looking in, what kind of finishes do they have? Because again, you don't want to like over renovate the home. So, is it a good idea to put in the high-end hardwood flooring? Or should you maybe go for something that's more laminate? Or do you want to go with, say, like granite countertops or quartz countertops, like instead of maybe going after marble, which is super high end? So those are things that you just really are going to want to think about. And then you just when you go to look at those renovations and you start saying, okay, well, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, like really start with the basics and the basics of the home, and then you can expand upon from there. And then again, you really do just like, I know so in Nashville there's a couple of like really good areas where you're going to want to which would be a really good investment for you. Places like the Woody Crest area, Wedgwood, Houston, Woodbine, Glencliff, also the Charlotte Park area, that's really good too. So, if you're looking in those areas in Nashville, like those are going to be good areas where you're going to see that variety of home, where you're going to be able to see a good return on investment. And then, the last thing that I would really caution you is when you're looking for one of those investment properties is, or if you're going to live in it, maybe you're even going to live in it. You don't want to just like buy a home and make it like nice and beautiful, and then just like be the nicest home in the neighborhood. So, just also be sure to think about the location. Is it on a busy road? Is it near a rougher part of town? It's just like things like that are what you want to consider when you're looking for that perfect place where you're going to renovate. And I know, like I said, Nashville is like really hot on this right now. So if you're like wondering what I would recommend, you can always feel free to reach out to me. I would be happy to help you I know I have in my heart some like secret, I want to be Joanna Gaines dreams, so I totally get it. Just the idea of taking something that looks run down and making it beautiful again is just something that really appeals to me. So I can totally understand if that's something that you'd be looking for as well. So again, like, just be sure, look at the location, make sure your finishes aren't above and beyond what's in the neighborhood. And then again, if you have any other questions concerning it, I am happy to answer. I know that this week's episode is a little bit shorter, but I've actually got a closing I've got to run to. So if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. I will answer them as soon as I get a chance. And if you're ever just looking at real estate in Nashville, I am always happy to help, whether you're looking to buy or sell. I am just here to help you in any way that I can. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to another week's episode of Caitlin's Music City Skinny. I hope everyone has a fabulous Thursday, and I'll see you next week.